A very good morning to Dr. Bimal Anjum, sir. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Dr. Bimal Anjum will be speaking today about the challenges and strategies to overcome the issues related to intellectual property rights in India. Dr. Bimal Anjum is a professor at DAV College, Sector 10, Chandigarh. His academic qualification is MCom, MPhil, PhD. He has over 2 decades of experience in academics and research. He has published more than 93 valuable papers in reputed journals of national and international. He has also published 6 books in his name. He has attended more than 70 national and international conferences. His research contribution is very great. He has supervised around 30 candidates for PhD and MPhil yet. He is a former member, PG, Postgraduate Board of Studies, Commerce and Management, Punjab University during 2017 to 19. He is a former member, Board of Studies, ICAR, Punjab Technical University, Jalandhar during 2012-14. He is a member of Academic Council, Mata Gujri College and Autonomous Institute, Shri Fatehgarh Sahib. He has also contributed to the industry by submitting the DSR to MSME for the development of steel cluster at Mandi Govindgarh. He is also presently added member faculty of Commerce and Business Administration, Punjab University, Chandigarh, and he has enlightened the faculty, students and research scholars by being the resource person for more than 50 faculty development programs and conferences and training programs. He is also member in editorial board of more than 50 national and international journals. Again, a warm welcome to you, Dr. Bimal Anjum, sir. And one thing to share with you, that he is also my guru and mentor. Thank you, sir. Sir, you can start now.
Thank you, Dr. Nitin Thaparji, for your kind words. And my very short introduction was available with Nitin Thapar, and that was that I was a part of the RIMT University till 2013. And this is a place for learning for me, and I learned a lot from this institute. So I am grateful to respected Dr. Hukamchand Bansalji, the founder of this university, and the entire management. And the father of the management of the Northern is Dr. B.S. Bhatia ji is still in the university, and he was our director. So I am happy to be the part of this event, and thanks to Nitin ji and the head of Department of Computer Sciences for giving me the opportunity to learn on a very burning topic. Friends, the topic which we have will be discussing, the more than the 80% is discussed by Advocate Sri Ashish Sharma ji. The basic thing is that the most of the time when we are talking about the Indian scenario, so what is happening in India and what is happening around the world. So if we see that India is the leading economy in the world, and if we will talk about the contribution of Indians at the international level, that is outstanding not only from today, from the day first. So if we see the contribution of Aryabhat, Chanakya, the very renowned beginning studies are given from the Indians. But where this stands? So this is the basic topic. Sir, I will ask you for the change in the slides. So I will convey you, please. So most of the time, what is happening that out of the country of 135 crores, so how many number of the patents are with us, where we are lacking, why we are lacking, what kind of the initiative should be taken by the government of India, and what should be done, what can be done by our end. So these will be some of the parts of my studies. So if we will talk about the IPRs, so which country is on the top in the IP indexes? So basically the credit goes to the United States. With an overall score of 95.31 points, the National Property Index consists of the 5 key sets of indicators to map the national intellectual property environment for 53 surveyed countries. So till now, each and every country is not in position to be part of the IP, because some of the developing economies are there and some are still at the initial stage. They are facing number of diplomas. These are some of the small countries. But we can't say that the small countries are not having the contribution in the IPs. So very number of the few small countries have the very good contribution in the IPRs. So what are the problems with the India that out of the 135 crores and we are lacking? So this is the basic topic for us. And where we stand, please next slide, sir. Next slide, sir, please. So India is ranked in the IPR. So India is having the 14th position in the 2020, scoring 38.4 out of 100 on a set of 15 intellectual property related indicators. So last time we were talking about the 5 sets. So out of this 5 set, again we are talking about the 50 points. And India's overall score has increased from 36.042% to this time that is 38.46. So this is highly appreciable steps. And why this has taken place? Because after 2014, Government of India is quite concerned about it, and few changes have taken place, and lot of have to take place, and we have to cover the gap. And I'm happy that the required amendments are done in the acts also. So if we see why India, where this is happening, so just remember the time that why at what time it was required. Basic points comes in the year 1995. Then under the leadership of Shri P.V. Narasimha Rao, being the Prime Minister of the countries, and India was the part of the WTO. When we signed up on the WTO, then we were the part of the number of the agreements. When we were the part of the number of the agreement, then today or the tomorrow we have to adopt some changes. So the process has started, but it is for your kind information that ICAR is not from the 1995 or after the independence. The term is before the independence also, before the 100 years back also. And you will be happy to know that India was the part of all these activities from the day first. So as far as the IPR issues are concerned, the protection of the intellectual property rights, patent, trademarks, copyright, trade secrets, and number of the others has changed over the last 2 decades from, and I told you that after the 1995 the things have taken place. And it is always a debatable topic at the global levels because number of the issues are there. So most of we are thinking that it is concerned with the patent, it is concerned with the trademarks, it is concerned with the copyrights, it is also concerned with the secret, it is also concerned with the designs. For example, Fulkari is one of the product in the region of Punjab. So you can get the patent if you have any kind of the designs. If you are visiting at any of the jewelry shops, number of the times they are not allowing you to take a pictures of that particular products. So why there are the reasons? What are behind these number of points are there? And whenever you will remember the very common example that was the life boy and the line boy. And the recent one judgment is given, even the fine is imposed upon the Dettol and another word of the Dettol changing the spell. So another company was fined by the court recently. So it is not concerned only and only with certain things. It is also concerned with the trade secrets. It's also concerned with the designs and other parts also. And it is very complex issues because if we were talking about where it is applicable, where it is not applicable, so it is always very complex and we have to summarize it. But basically, how to summarize it, we have to take number of the decisions. Very renowned products in the market that was the Patanjali, and nowadays even in case of the Patanjali, a number of the cases are filed, and these all are related. Some of the cases are related with the IPR issue. Even when this vaccine medicine was introduced, it was also under the dispute, and because that has not closed certain points, for that was related, that may be related with the medical procedures, but sometimes the issues are also related with the IPR issues. So next slide, please. So what IPR covers in India, this was the basic terms which I was talking about. So under the intellectual property law, owners are granted certain exclusive rights to a variety of intangible assets. So such as musical also there, literary is also there, artistic is also there. So each and every part has been taken under the IPR issues. Okay. So when you remember that the old songs were converted by the other parties, that the remix is coming in the market. Then one renowned case was in the Honorable Supreme Court of India. At that time, Supreme Court of India allowed it that you can do it. Why that was allowed it? Because these were not registered. And the moment if the certain points are registered, then it is not easy to be allowed by any of the courts. So definitely at that time the party must have suffered, and if they must be remembering if the rights are with us, how much we will be able to earn. So this may be in the form of the symbols also, designs also. So all these are also covered by the IPR Act in India. and the government of India is very much concerned about it. The next slide, please. So if we will talk about all these things, and we will be talking about what is coming under this and what is not coming under this. So I have taken some of the examples for your kind reference that IPRs are not only concerned with the few, 2, 3, 4 items, it is concerned with the number of the items, and some of the common items are the patent, the trademark, the copyright, the industrial indicator, trade secrets, industrial designs, confidential information, layout designs, and all. When the government of India has given the permission to some of the companies, foreign MNC companies in India, and when we asked that you have to show on the labeling, and some of the companies were not agreed to that part. So when it was asked why you are not agreed to this, so the matter came to the trade secrets. And it was a very burning issue, and despite of all the terms and conditions, the government of India permitted that product, and number of the soft drinks were available in the country, and after some times what happened, so now we are able to see only the limited parts as far as the manufacturing in India is concerned. So the trade secrets are there, and for the benefits of all these, the persons are going to do this. And even in India, the manufacturing sector is taking too much interest nowadays in the intellectual property rights. 2 days back, I attended one conference in Mohali that was organized by the government of Punjab with the Ministry of Micro and Small Medium Enterprises, so MSME, DI. So what was the conclusion that unless and until the MSME will not take, the medium and small organization owners will not take interest, so in future they may have to pay their additional charges. So if you have any particular brand, then you can enjoy it. So confidential information are also there. Layout designs is also the part of these. So my basic opinion is that these are some of the examples. The other may also be there. But the thing is there that whenever you have any kind of the new innovative ideas, any kind of the new technologies, and any kind of the new designs, any kind of the new framework, so that can be registered, and that should be registered, and that will be in the future. Next one, please. The IPR production and the awarenesses. So what basically happened in India, that I told you that we were the part of the IPR Act, not only after the independence, before the independence also. Or despite all these things, the US is standing with its score in the 95 point something, and we are at 36 point something. So the huge gap is there. And if you remember what is happening, what kind of the goods or the services are being imported by the US, and what kind of the goods and services are imported by us, means outsourcing or insourcing. So in India, the almost more than the 50% of the total budget is spent in case of the IITs, IIMs, and the AIMS itself, and the rest are in the other academic institutes. And what is actually happening, the product of all these are, most of the products are hired by the multinational company, basically by the US. So US is hiring the more intellectual persons from the country. So what is happening, the persons who is an engineer from the IITs or is a manager from the IIMs, so most of them are going abroad. So why they are going abroad? Because they are able to get the good package. And if they are able to get the good package, so that is an investment by the US companies, multinational companies. And why they are doing it? Because they know that they have the caliber, they have the talent, they are innovative, they are hardworking, and they can contribute for the IPRs. Or where, what, and how we are missing, the government of India is unable to understand these terms. So it's for your kind information, the fee structure of the IITs, IIMs is not so easy. It is very high, and it is always financed by the banks. Why the banks are able to finance it? Because they know that within the 6 months or years after the degree, they will be able to recover the money with interest. So that is a safe investment at the end of the banks. So actually, the IPR protection was very low in India. And as far as the IPR is concerned, the number of the issues are there. And if the person is going in the court, then no one is listening again, date, and the time has gone. So these were the very common problems. And the copying, plagiarism, piracy, other IPR violations were rampant. So number of the issues are there, but as far as the plagiarism part is concerned, if we will be talking about 10 years back and you are writing a paper, then no one was concerned for the plagiarism. Even in case of the PhD thesis, no one was concerned about the plagiarism. But if we see from the last almost 8 to 10 years, so the term plagiarism came in India, and it is very much popular. And nowadays, we are asking that it should be everything can be submitted after the plagiarism testing only. So number of the softwares are there, the relaxations are there, the rules and regulations are there, and even being a teacher, I'm sure that most of we even don't know what kind of the penalties may be imposed upon us. So these all things are there. So what about the awareness regarding copyright, plagiarism, and other terms should be given proper awareness. And if we will be able to create the proper awareness, definitely we will be able to get the good benefit. The society will be able to understand, and out of the 135 crore, definitely the good number of the IPRs will be there. So with the Indian political, social, and economic evolution, protection of IPR is vital to ensure the intellectual, cultural, and economic growth. So every time we are talking about the economic growth, and we should be concerned about the economic growth. So every person in the country feel that we should be we should be under the developed economy. If you remember the last year when Trump was the president of US, so he mentioned that the India and the China should not be granted the benefit as a developing economy. They are the developing economy. So if the US says that India and the China is the developed economies, and if I compare India with the China, there's a huge difference. We are talking about the 5 trillion economies. They are already more than 10. Yeah, and if we see the figures in the difference in the population, that is not too much nowadays. That is also the limited. So here the question arises that what should be done at the end of our government. So this is the issue. So basic issue is there that we should consider that for the economic benefit, the politician should think for the social and economic development. And for that point of view, so there is a need for the evolution. There is a need to protect the IPRs. And if we will be able to do it, definitely the industry will grow. If the industry will grow, definitely the tax revenue will grow. Employment will grow. And if we will be able to generate the employment, if we are able to pay as much as paid by the Googles and others, so the engineers will not go outside. The doctors will not go from India to other countries. So we have to think over it, and we have to create the awareness. And the awareness is not only at the end of the people; it should be at the end of the politicians who have to be sitting in the assemblies or the parliaments, and they have to think over it. So next slide, sir, please. So IPR policy complies with the WTO's TRIPS agreements. So when we signed up on the WTOs and we signed up on the other agreements, so it was decided mutually that we have to follow all these rules and regulations. For example, it was decided by the government of India under the agreement that within the phase of some years, the subsidies will be removed. Even they were talking about the agriculture subsidies. Why? Because India is the agriculture economy. And if from the Indian economy like India, the agriculture will be out, so what will happen? So this was the basic issue. So when you are the part, definitely you have to follow certain rules and regulations, and you have to obey all terms and conditions. So this is the one thing. But most of the time the persons are sitting, if the simple layman person is sitting, said, if I will go for the IPR, it's a lengthy process, I have to pay more, I have to spend money. Yes, you have to spend money. But if I will compare what is the cost in India is less than the rest of the others. So filling is a process, that is the typical process. I do agree. I'm sure that the first experts, he was from the law side, so he must discuss certain points. So process is typical, but it is not too much typical. If the moment you will be taking interest, and definitely you will be able to find it. So where we are lacking, because nowhere in the curriculum, at any of the level, it was not the part that how to go for the IPRs. For example, if someone has done his PG, so I don't feel that accepting the few fields they are able to understand the term IPR. So such kind of the knowledge should be given from the school level, and unless and until we will not provide such kind of the knowledge to the general public, so how we will be able to get the patents. So Government of India must think that the process should be simple, and we should make it easy, that we should keep the cost at the lowest side. So no doubt this time the cost is around 1600. So we should again think over it. Next slide, sir, please. So when we were talking about all these things, then definitely there must be certain organizations, and if there should be certain organization, then the particular ministry should have to take care for all this. So as far as the organizational structure part is concerned, so Ministry of Industry and Commerce is taking care for all these things, and few months back, Piyush Goyal was very keen about all these things, and the Ministry of Industry and Commerce had established certain branches. When we decided to establish these branches, most of the branches were in the metro cities only. To keep the cities in the metro cities was basically because of the population part, because of the industrial hub part is there. But if we will be taking care only and only for the centers and the metros, so it is not applicable. So nowadays, what is happening that we are changing the organizational structure also. So we have the Office of the Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks, and under this leadership, then it is there, the design wing is there, the design wing is working at the Kolkata. So please, next slide, sir, please. So then patent office, that is at Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai, that's discussed. Then the trademark marks is there, registry there, then it is also again in the metro cities, but it included the Ahmedabad. Why it is included? It has included the Ahmedabad because in the region of the Gujarat, the awareness level is better than the others, because the Gujaratis are very good in business. If we see the history of the Sindhis and Jainis, so their contribution in the population may be less than 2%, but as far as the intellectual part is concerned, they have contributed in lot. So the Ahmedabad is included here. And then as far as the geographical indicators registry part is done, it was at Chennai, and the patent information services, it is at Nagpur. So again, now what has been decided that at the state level, every state level, there are the certain, it is not at the district headquarters, it is in the form of the cluster. We have appointed some officials, and these officials are from the side of the IPR background, and they are taking for all these things. As I earlier mentioned, that last meeting I attended in the Mohali, and in Mohali phase 1, they have their office, and they are creating the awareness for the industrial persons. So if anyone is interested, they can go and join hands with them. So next slide, sir, please. So now the question is, what to do? How to get the patents? So I already told that as far as the Indian part is concerned, we say that we are the developing economies. The rest of the world says India is not a developing economy. They say that India is a developing economy. If I go on the statistic, then I am coming to know that the 25% population is not in position to get the food per single time. So it's the big issues. What to do? So nowadays the patents, earlier what is happening? Most of the times we are talking about the engineering background, engineering angles, design, this and this. But I already told it may be related with the music, it may be related with the literature, it may be related with any of the design, any of the construction. So if you remember that the big constructions are taking place and these are being covered. So most of the times we are thinking that these are for the security purpose. Yes, as far as the Honorable Court order is concerned, this is for the security purpose. But another one logic is there that the builder is happy that it should not be disclosed. My structure should not be disclosed. My design should be the new one so that I will be able to get the better money. So unless and until we will not be joining the right hands, means we are not going to for the knowledge sharing. So we will not be able to go. I mentioned that in the initial research and development, so India was having a very good contribution. As far as the mathematics part is concerned, Arya did a wonderful job, not only in India, at the international level. So is it a register? No. The rice is there, the haldi is there, the name is here. So who is getting the patent for all this? The rest of the world is having the patent for all this. Although we are fighting against all these things, the matrices are getting the court. So why we are lacking? Because we were not having the awareness. And what were the problems in the India? Because after the independence, we were having the number of the problems, and the basic problem was initially that was the literacy rate. The literacy rate was not so good. Then government of India was thinking for the industrialization, so we invested during the 2 plans for the heavy industries, but that was not so successful. So again, when we comes again for the green revolutions, we were concerned for the pharmaceutical sectors, but we were not concerned for the health issue. So whenever any kind of the changes, any kind of the development is taking place in the particular site, so that is at the cost of the another site. So if that is on the cost of the other site, it means the research is not done on the other part. So if we will be getting only and only patent in certain fields, but the certain fields are still pending. For example, what is happening in the country? If you remember, in the medical sectors, only the 15% products is being manufactured in India till today, and around 85% are being imported from outside. And even the medicine for the cancer we are going to import from outside. And later on we comes to know that the medicine is highly in demand, and then we comes to know the terms for the patent. So patent medicines mean the original medicine and the generic medicines. So when the terms, and then we motivated some of the manufacturers in India that we go for the production of the generic medicine door. So the cost which was we were paying in the lakhs is now in the price around the 10 to 15,000. So what is there that unless and until you will not be joining the hands. For example, initially for the foreign direct investment, we invited the world to invest the money in the country. So the purpose was not to invest the money. We were not concerned with the lack. We were not lacking at the level of the capital. Basically, we were lacking at the level of the technology. We have to import the technology. We have to take care for the technical know-how. And when we are talking about the technical know-how, definitely you have to join the hands with someone. And the moment you will be able to join the hands with someone, definitely you will be able to learn. And if you are able to learn, definitely the new things will take place. And I'm happy that even the RIMT University has joined the hands with some of the foreign universities. And it will be talking about the foreign culture, foreign systems, procedures. And if our students will be able to understand all these things, definitely it will be good for the society. So as far as the sector part is concerned, that we have to call the patent and copyrights. And when we are covering the patent and copyrights, so initially if you are not able to do it at your end, there is no how to join the hands with the other persons. So in this case, what happened? Even the government of India joined the hands with the leading companies. For example, India has similar MOUs with the other nationals, for example, even with the US and others. So unless or until we will not join the hands, we will not share the knowledge, we will not be able to do it. There is a very common term so that why we were unable to develop the Ayurveda in India. So Ayurveda is very good astrology. So the conclusion came that there was a limitations when we are going to transfer the knowledge to the another generation. So they were keeping certain secrets. They are not disclosing the certain secrets that my students will be able to understand the same things. He or she may be better than me. So that was a wrong process. So what is the most important thing, that the right move of the knowledge sharing is very important. Unless and until you will not share the latest knowledge, not only the latest knowledge, you have to go in the history also. And if you go in the history and then you will come to the present, you will be able to find a gap, and that gap is going to motivate. And that gap is going to tell you that what kind of the innovation, what kind of the things have taken place. Most of the times we use a word that is a jugaad technology. आप सबने देखा होगा कि वो जूस वाला होता है ना, गन्ने का जूस निकालता है, वो एक मोटरसाइकिल पे अपना मशीन लगा के उसको निकालता है. तो हिंदुस्तान में बोल देते हैं देखो ये जुगाड़ टेक्नोलॉजी है. Actually, it is not a जुगाड़ technology. That is also the innovation. That should be appreciated and that should be registered. And if we will be going for the registration, the government is able to generate the revenue. And if that is running on the road and that will be taking place, and then under the proper rules and regulations, they will be also paying the road tax. So we should not discuss it. We should take it in the positive manners, but we should take each and everything within the system. But what is happening in the country, if someone will go and asking for the number to the RTOs, the RTO is not going to give all this. So all these points should be taken care. So next slide, please. Developing countries, there are some typical concerns. What are these typical concerns when we are talking that we should go for the IPRs? First question is there, what is the benefit of it for me? So the another party will not be able to do the entire life. It's not possible. There are certain rules that that's the particular rights will be with you for the 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, as per the nature of the product and the level of the registration and all. So there are certain issues. So will the IPR stops us from using our one traditional knowledge? This is the big question. So no, we are not doing that. IPR is nowhere going to stop anyone from the previous knowledge. Traditional knowledge is very good, but how to use the traditional knowledge under the rules and regulations framework? So for that you have to go for the patent. I already mentioned that the haldi, tulsi, etc. These are the common, but these were the very common products used in the rural areas in India. So as far as the patent part is concerned, these are patents to most of the products is with the other countries. So because they will have the business at that time. So it is not going to stop anyway. Will our lives be governed by the transnations? No, nothing like this. So there are the rules and regulations. The rules and regulations, first of all, every country has their own rules and regulations. Then every country, the member countries are the part of a big agreements. So definitely the big bodies are going to direct us. We have to work under the big umbrella. But the basic rules and regulations, most of the rules and regulations are governed by the concerned government. So I'm not in position to say that it is absolutely false. No. Under the umbrella, we have certain rules and regulations. You have to follow certain rules and regulations of the international body also. There are the international courts also, and the number of the cases are going in the international courts also. So what will happen to the local workmen? Will the local market will suffer? So this is the question. If the things will take place, yes, the local market will suffer unless and until they will not start taking the initiative. And the initiative is small or big is not the initiative. Every initiative is the initiative. So if you have a patent for a so common things and you feel that it will not pay for a long period, yes, that may pay for a long period. Nowadays, what is happening if a company is a small company, it doesn't mean that a company is a small company and their business will be small. But a small company can have a market at the international level because after the WTO, the entire market is a single market. And if the entire world is a single market, so it means the local workforce is safe. When we invited that the whole system will take place in the country, the retail sector was allowed in the country by the government under the leadership of Dr. Manmohan Singh. So the most of the persons were thinking what will happen with the Rediwala. So Rediwala is again doing a very good business. If someone have to take the food at a 4 to 20 or 30 or 50, definitely they will go to the Rediwala. And if someone have to capacity to pay, definitely they will go in the restaurant sector. So if you be talking about the restaurant star 3, 5 days, and there are some steps they have to follow this. Then the national biodiversity is very important, and we have to take care either the privacy is there or not, and will it be maintained, will it be taken care? Yes, it will be taken care. And with the local initiatives, be negatively impacted? No, nothing like this. Nothing will be going negative if you have gone for the patent and there are certain, then there will be certain problems. But if we say that it is going to put the negative impact, it is nowhere going to put the negative impact. Yes, problems may be there, but as far as the local market is concerned or the development part is concerned, it is nowhere going to harm. Yes, but if you are not taking, if any of the country is not taking care for the IPs, definitely they have to pay for. The way India is thinking today and if the way India was thinking in the same manner 20 or 30 years back, the things must have changed. For example, the two initiatives, Make in India, Made in India, and the Atmanirbhar Bharat is there. So if you take the steps honestly without any kind of the political ideology, so these are the good initiatives. And you will be happy to know that because of the Make in India, so initiatives in the defense sector, the number of the items which we were importing, nowadays we are able to export. And earlier we have to take help from the Russia or from the US. Nowadays, no, nothing like this because we are able to get the technology, we are able to develop the technical and all kind of the rules and regulations which were required. So government of India is able to do all these things. So next slide, sir, please. So if we are talking about the IPR history in India, so I already mentioned that when the year 1942, the world was thinking for the WTO, and in the 42, the India was one of the members of that committee. In 1942, and we got the independence in 1947. So when we become the members after the number of the meetings in the year 1995, the world agreed that it is a single market. So at that time also India was a very good market, and that is another issue that it was controlled by some external forces. But the external forces were also in position to know what kind of the intellectual properties India had. The first patent law was introduced in India in 1956, which was followed by the Indian Patent Act of 97 and 1970. So just imagine that after 1947 to 1970, even in the 1911, we were thinking for the act, and then again it was modified. So just remember that in 1856, then 11, and then in 1970, so act was taking place. The first major tweak towards the IPR protection comes in 1995 when India joined the World Trade Organization. The moment you become the part of the WTO, it means whatsoever the terms and conditions are for the business, for the any of the sector. I am not talking only for the manufacturing sector, even in case of the service sector, in case of the agriculture sector. So we were bounded to follow it. And if someone have the patent, what is the basic thing that they have the right, they can exercise the right, and so if someone would like to use all the in the same way, they have to take permission from them, and to take the permission from them, then they will be charging the royalty for them, and you have to pay the royalty. So it means you can generate the revenue. So if I criticize that the government of India was late to join this, no, the government of India has taken the good time, and we were not in position to sign it before because literacy rate and other issues were there. But in the year 1995, during the 90 to 95, that was also the one of the golden period for us because the LPG model came during that time only. And Dr. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister of India, and then we have taken the number of the initiatives during that part. And then the same ideology was followed by Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So he has also taken the good initiatives. Then during the year 2004 to 9, so some development have also taken during that period also. So the basic thing is there that unless and until we will not change the regulations from time to time, means we have the act, and if we are not going to modify the act as per the need of the hour, so who will be suffering? So the manufacturers will be suffering. The innovators, the persons who are taking initiatives, so they will be disgraced, and the number of the cases we go in the courts, and if the court will not decide this case well in time, definitely every party have to pay cost. Even being a customer, we have to pay the cost. So these are some of the parts that India was not from 47, even 1956 we were concerned about it. So number of the challenges are with us. And what are the various challenges about this? That violations are because of the poor enforcement of the rights. So we have the act, we are unable to enforce it. We have the visions, we are unable to transform it. So these are some of the issues. A number of the cases are pending in the courts, and what is happening if the court case is pending, definitely the manufacturer is suffering, they have to pay the additional cost. So this is a sore point, particularly for the large multinational corporations in area like pharmaceuticals and agriculture in India. So I already mentioned that the pharmaceutical sector can do a wonderful job. For example, recently what is happening that we have the vaccines, we manufacture the 2 vaccines, are in trial also. So then there was a question during the COVID period, and even that time was again the President Trump was there, and India and US was agreed that this should be out of the IPR. Patent rights should be out of in the case of the vaccine manufacturing, and they were talking about the other country also, but some of the countries would not agree this. But when after some time one statement was given by the Chief Minister of Delhi, so the formula should be disclosed and the number of the manufacturers should be allowed. So are we able to do it? Is it possible? So technically and legally it was not possible. Unless until the other party is not going to give their consent. If the particular product is registered with the particular pharmaceutical sector, so why the particular pharmaceutical sector will give the consent? I told you the medicine which was earlier in at the cost of rupees, the 1 lakh, nowadays that is available between 10 to 15,000. Why? Because we come to know that the terms and conditions that it is now the act is not applicable, patent period has expired. So the other parties can come up and they can manufacture the same medicine. So although I am not from the medical side, but if you will be going in the big hospitals, so government of India has opened the number of the shops for the generic shops, and how these generic medicines are coming, all these things are coming. But again, the awareness level is not there. Even I am going to buy the medicines, I don't know which one is the original medicine, which one is the generic medicine. So the same thing is happening in case of the IPR. So awareness is not there. And the 12 countries, basically when we are talking about the China, Russia, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, clear? So they are also doing a good job. Clear? And as far as the Indian government part is concerned, the moment where we are failing, we are not failing at the level of the planning. We are basically failed at the level of the enforcement. And the moment the government of India will be able to enforce it. Enforcement means here we have the apex body UGC, we have the apex body technical, we have the number of the councils. When we establish the number of the councils, these were established with a motive, good motive, that these will give the better results for the society. And we were expecting a lot from the society, and we were thinking that the good results will be there. But actually what happened, the councils, the few persons started running the council. Although the election was there, but again the lobby was working there. And if the lobby is working there, what happened? then we were suffering because of that. So there are the certain challenges that we have the framework, we have the roadmap, but we are unable to follow it. Sometimes because of the political instability, because of the different ideology, because the decision is taken by the previous government. The decision may be good, but we cannot run in the same manner because it's the decision of the previous government. Such kind of the things needs to be changed, and there are the certain other parties there that in the acts there are some complications. So whenever we are framing the act, particular act, any kind of the policies, these are framed as per that given environment. But what is happening after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, what kind of the new methodology is coming in the market? So judge is not going to understand this. Law is not going to understand all these things. So that is the big problem. And some kind of the modifications required at the end of the work. The next slide, please. So as far as this part is concerned, this time the farmers are on the strikes and they are sitting on dharna from a number of months, and they are asking for the minimum spot price. So please don't take me at that I am against any of the farmers. I am not against any of the farmers. I am also the background of a farmer. So should it be allowed it? Can we bring such kind of the law? If we will be able to bring such kind of the law, what will happen with the poor? I already mentioned that the 25% of the population is not in a position to get the food per single time. So there are the number of the issues about this. The IPR protection in agriculture is sensitive topic in India. So under the TRIP agreement, subsidies like minimum support price for the agriculture products and those for fertilizer, etc. is there. So should we fix like this? Can we change such kind of the agreement? Can we stop the subsidies? First time in subsidies. First time in case of the fertilizers, the maximum subsidy is given by the government of India during this year. So is it allowed by the law? So these are some of the basic issues, and this should be addressed and this should be taken care for this. So there has also been some restrictions from the farmers to the patenting of seeds by multinational companies. So if you are getting the products, the hybrid products are in the market, and if someone is going to get the patent for that particular things, so what is happening again? The issue there. No, it should not be there. It is harmful for us. But if we will think for it for the long time future, so this is not harmful for us. Basically, I am in position that the R&D and the other legal cells should have to join the hands, and they have to think over it. And as far as the agriculture part is concerned, it is agriculture-based economy. So if we are able to do something and that is good for the farmer, that is good for the society, and that can increase the productivity, so we should think over it. So traditional knowledge and the products acquiring over the centuries using local know-how have been kept out of the reach of patents. Yes, I use the word jugaad technology. So we are laughing upon them, but that is not the part the issue of law. That is the issue to appreciate. So traditional know-how and the traditional knowledge should be appreciated. And the government has created a database for such products and processes in the traditional knowledge digital library. So this time we are thinking for all these things, and that during the pandemic of the COVID, so we come to know that the number of the patients recovered by the Ayurvedas are better than the allopathy and all. And again, it is a controversial statement given by Baba Ramdev. So I'm not going to support anyone, but we cannot ignore it. If we will be talking about the homeopathy technology and that is scientific and that is able to cure, so why not to follow that particular? But how to follow it, how to learn it, how to get all this knowledge, then the digital library is one of the best source. So you should go through the digital libraries and we should learn from that part. So next slide, sir, please. So whenever in India we are talking about all these things, so there are certain basic points, issues are there. The first is in the process of product patents. It is not so easy. It is complicated, and every person is not able to do so. So I mentioned the number of the cities. These are the multinational cities. And even where simple layman person is not able to go and approach them, it's not easy. So if the things are online, so every person is not having the internet facility in the country. So it's not easy to say that it's like India. So each and every person is there to do so. And if you will be talking about only the 10%, top 10%, then it is okay. But if I'm going to ignore the bottom 10%, it's not healthy. So you must be visiting in the remote area, and you will be visiting in the rural areas, and you will find sometimes the academic the person is not so good, but as far as the skill part is concerned, they are outstanding. They are perfectly good. So what is required that we have to motivate them, we have to encourage them, and we have to put such persons in the better side. Second is the Section 3D of the Indian Patent Act. So whenever the new innovation is concerned, new designs are concerned, there are certain issues that this is old, how to prove it, this is my, number of the issues are there. So number of the cases pending in the courts are related to the Section 3D of the Indian Patent Act. So because I am not from the legal background, but I come to know through the database that the maximum part is there, and this is stating the problem. Because it is very difficult to say that this is my design. If the 2%, 3% are coming at a time, and none of them has filed their documents well in time in the future, advance. So the whosoever filed the documents in advance may be taken as the persons who have taken the credit. The credit will be given to that person. But is it absolutely right? No one can say. Compulsory licensing is there. So although under the liberalization policies we were talking, the licensing policy should be abolished and it should be minimized and it should be restricted only to sectors. And if as far as the patent part is concerned, again we are asking that the licensing should be there and how long the licenses should be allowed it, in which sector it should be allowed it. For example, the health is a complicated issue. And during the COVID period, if you will be talking only for the licensing and the patent for the medicines, the cost will be too high. Definitely the entire world have to pay the cost. So drug price control orders, who will control the price of the drugs? How to decide it? Although we say that in India, ICWA have to take care for all these things. But as far as the drug part is concerned, again the number of the patents may be involved, the how long, where this will be applicable, because everything is not decided only at our end, means at the end of the country. Number of the issues may be concerned with the rest of the other words. Means some of the other big umbrella may be, the part may be involved, so we cannot ignore that part. We have to honor that part also, and accordingly we have to do things. Food security and IPR. Yeah, with the top country with the huge population, we are 135 crores of the plus population is there, and where we are not in position to serve the poor for 25% to the 25% single time. And just imagine that during the pandemic period, during the last 2 years, more than 80 crore persons are being served by the government of India. The government of India is providing the food to them. So personally, I am happy with the decision because what is happened here, most of the food was spoiled in the godams, warehouses. So if the government has given the distributed this to the weaker section of the society, is not the issue. But if I admit that the 80% of the persons needs the foods, means are they thinking, are they in position to think for the IPR? No, they are not in position to think for the IPR. But I can't say that they are not the talent. Again, may have the talent. As I mentioned, that even a poor person in the uneducated person may have the good knowledge. Skills may be there. Okay? And the IPRs, CPRs, and the other indigenous knowledge is there. So definitely we have to take care of all these things. And unless and until the government not will address these few points, and I don't feel that we will be able to improve the level of the IPRs in the country. If you think that wow, we were able to improve it during the last 2 years, I already mentioned that the improvement is there. It is the improvement because of the awareness, because of the new acts introduced by the government of India, and we made the system liberalized and make a policy for the compulsory licensing clear. And if we will be addressing some more issues, definitely we will be able to get the good results. Next slide, sir, please. So if there are certain issues, why the position is not so good? So there are certain issues which are being neglected. Insufficiency of the regulations. So if only and only the act is there, and if we are talking only and only with the IPR Act, and we are not talking about the, for example, IT Act, we are not talking about the other medical act or the ICT Act. So number of the acts are there, but regulations is insufficient. So we have to regulate the things quickly, And I already mentioned the number of the cases are pending in the courts. Why these are pending? So again, the n number of the problems are there. Lack of awareness is the big problem. Unless and until the proper awareness will not be created, so we will not be able to achieve this objective. So we need to create the awareness. We need to create the awareness not only at the level of the PG, we need to create this awareness at the level of the schools also. So in the syllabus curriculum development, academicians have to think over it, and it should be the part. Lack of efficient applications, control of these regulations. So efficient application should be the means we unless and until we will not increase the number of the applicants. So we should encourage more and more persons, and when we will be getting the number of the ideas, so some of the ideas may come on, they may have the clash with the others also, but definitely it will improve the standards. So we have to take care for the applications and formulate the comprehensive IPR policies for the various sectors and academic institutes. So we cannot think only for the one policy. One policy decided by the government at the top level may be good, but unless and until we will not think for these policies sector-wise. Means, for example, the banking sector may differ with the manufacturing sector, manufacturing may differ with the agriculture sector, and their rights, wrongs, and their welfare issues may differ. And unless and until the academic institution will not be a part of all these things. Means if you are teaching the nursing staff, you are teaching to the medical staff, means BMS doctor, the MBBS doctor, the MD doctor, the cardio doctor, the neuro doctors, or even in case of the general arts, science, commerce, BSc, medical, agriculture, etc. So everywhere, either is a technical, the non-technical, so comprehensive policies needs. And a number of times when we are talking why the government is asking to publish the papers in the UGC case list journals, Scopus journals, number of times they are asking. And they are also asking for the impact factor. So the logic behind it, why the UGC asked this, why the AICT asked this, why the AICT asked for some particular journal, because the basic purpose was that the apex bodies were concerned to pass a message to the teachers that just see the way the rest of the other world is working and where you are working. So please don't take me negative. I am also a teacher. So when this condition was imposed, this was criticized by the number of the teachers. So how we will be able to publish the paper? How we will be the part of the research? So if you are not in position to be a part of the research and you are not able to publish the paper, so what kind of expectations can be from us for the future of the students? Yes, we have to take care of this, and we have to be updated, and we have to publish our paper with the high impact papers, high impact journal. So high impact journal here, I have criticized one thing. Sometimes we are thinking that the journal of the US is far better than the journal of India. Nothing like this. Sometimes very good journals are in India also, very good impact factor can be in India also. So the impact factor takes time. Sometimes we think that the old journal have the good impact, but the new journal is not having a good impact. But if the new journal is run under the proper terms and conditions with the rules and regulations, definitely after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they will be also starting the impact factor. So it doesn't mean that if the editorial board, the maximum person are sitting from the out of the country, that is the best, nothing like this. So here the UGC as well as the AICT needs to make certain changes. And the person to merge the IPRs, yes, trains and provide access and training to use the patent information database. Unless and until you will not be having a good database, you are not providing the training and you are not getting the awareness. For example, if the concerned department in government of Punjab is not giving the awareness, or they are giving the awareness to the big cities, they will be able to achieve the objective, nothing like this. So we have to increase the database, we have to see what kinds of products are being manufactured. And the city Mandi government, this one is the leading re-rolling industry in the world. So the number of the patent can be generated from that, but very limited may have done. Why? Because the awareness is lacking, lack of the awareness. And considering the IPR professionals who to offer the professional services for the IPR. Beginning on the second to third slide I discussed, you have to join the hands. And unless and until you even don't join the hands with the right person, definitely you will face the problems. Again, I am going on the negative side on the one part that number of the times in the WhatsApp groups we are getting that there is a one paper likely to be published and the fee is, for example, 15,000, and if you would like to be the co-author, then you have to pay this month, and the number of the persons joining. There is no use of such kind of the research. There is no use of such kind of the credits. when you will be sitting, you will be appearing in any kind of the good interviews, and the examiner will be asking the same questions. Any of the questions from that part, you are not able to follow it. So the better is that do something, do something solid, and do at your end, and very small initiatives and the big initiatives, the initiatives to the initiative, and definitely that will pay in the future. Next, we have certain issues also. The patent evergreening preventions, subsidies is there, product patent process is there, and protecting the trade, traditional knowledge is there, compulsory licensing is there, drug price control order is there. So these are some of the issues which need to be addressed by the government from time to time. If any of the government has addressed this today, it doesn't mean that after 2 years the things will remain same. No, the things will definitely change, because it is not the changes are not taking in India. The changes we have to take the changes at the international level. And unless and until we will not take care for the international level, we will not be able to cope up with the technology. So here the importance is that we have to take care for all these things. And the very, very important part is the drugs price control order. So if in the country, developing country like India, so such kind of the things, such kind of the items should be taken proper care. Next, sir, please. So as far as the milestone to achieve the successful implementation of the TRIPS agreements, we have the agreements, and definitely we have to implement all these things, and we have to implement this with the proper success. So how to implement all these things? It's not the work of for 1 or 2 or 3 days, because the governments may come or governments may go, but the scientists, the innovators, the general engineers, background, teachers, professors, philosophers, so number of the things should be implemented, and in the implementation, the role is for always for the upper bodies. Unless and until the upper bodies will not accept their responsibilities, they will not start taking initiative. So the rest under means subordinates cannot do the thing. India must establish a lobby. So why I mentioned the word lobby? So as far as the international part is concerned, what is happening? When the part is at the critical issue, means the matter is concerning at the clash of the law, what is happening? So developed countries have a lobby, and according to the lobby, they are speaking in a lobbyist way. So India should join the hands with the big lobbies. India should also create a lobby. Even we have the number of the bodies, for example, we have the Asian bodies and other bodies, but again we have the number of the clash also. But here we need to establish a lobby. Okay? So foster and rewards entrepreneurship. So unless and until the entrepreneurship will not be taken care of, unless until the entrepreneurs will not be motivated, unless and until the entrepreneurs will not be spotted, the decision will not be taken in favorable as far as the IPR is concerned. If I feel that the IPR is the duty only and only of the public sector, absolutely wrong. Unless and until the private sector will not be the part of these activities, we will not be able to achieve the good numbers. And when the private sector will invest the money, when the private sector will establish the R&D, what happens normally in case of the R&D, they are spending a lot from the in the number of the years, but when they will get the success, God knows. But when they got the success, and if they are not getting the credit, means they are not getting the patent benefits, they are not getting the proper royalties, they are not able to recover the investments, definitely no one will take interest. So if Serum Institute have taken the interest, so somewhere the government has supported them. And creation of the patent cells in the other part also, I see here. So definitely we have to create the different cells, and these cells need to be created not only at the national level, they should be created at the state level and then the regional levels, and we should come at the block level also. Next, sir, please. So now we have to take certain challenges in the IPR. So as earlier mentioned, I already mentioned you the poor enforcement of the right, and the court cases are there. Compulsory licensing is there. Section 3D of the Indian Patent Act is there. IPR production in agriculture is there. So day by day, the agriculture is become sensitive in the country. And this time, the 3 acts were there in the parliament, and that act has taken care as far as the financial part is concerned. So personally, I don't feel that that is negative. That is good part also. But the act may be good for today, but may not be good for tomorrow. So if we are thinking for the what will happen after 10 years, we should wait for the 10 years. Because whatsoever is being decided under any of the policies, that is taken with the the present and the upcoming challenges. But what will happen in the future, what kind of environment will be in the future, so none of the country can depend upon their domestic environment. We have to take care for the international environment also. And always in the environment, there are certain controllable things, there are some uncontrollable things. So we should think only for the controllable. For the uncontrollable, we should think that how to handle the things. So minimum support price is there, that where it is possible and where it is not possible, and according to the situation, we should decide all these things. So next slide, sir, please. So when we are talking about this, we should think for the politics. What kind of the politics? If we are talking about the politics, the party A, party B, party C in India, there are the number of the parties, and number, for example, if the 5 something members are sitting in the parliament, then if you will be talking about the political parties, some parties have only the single representative, but again they are the national parties. So politics is good, but the politics is good when it is used for the betterment of the society. If you will be speaking to any of the experts of the political science, so they will be able to explain it better. But such kind of politics should not be only and only within the country. We should think in a positive manner at the international level. I mentioned about lobbying. At what time we will join the hands. Once upon a time with this Afghanistan part, the America has given the backup against the Russia. And what is happening right now? So I'm not going to discuss that again. But the basic thing is that the IPR part is concerned if the politics will be in the right manner, the politics will be not will be done in case of the innovation, in case of the research and development, in case of the IPR, definitely that particular economy will. And if any of the economy, any of the political parties is going to ignore these things, definitely they have to pay the very high cost. Ethics part is there. What is right, what is wrong, how to decide, who to decide. And if in practically we will go, then the things are in the different manners. So please think ethically. Means do whatever is best under the given circumstance, what is right under the given best circumstances. Economics, always think further that the resources are always limited and how to use these resources for the betterment, how to generate the revenues, how to generate the employment, how to increase the production, clear, and how to handle the number of the other challenges. Definitely the economics part should be taken care. Psychology is there. So if you are not taking the psychology and psychological, if the members are not fit, then we will not be able to decide in the right manner. Stability part is very, very important. Whenever we are deciding any of the act, any of the issue, then the stability is very, very important. If you are changing the law daily, means amendments are taking place every 6 months, that is again not good. Clear, the amendment should be done. I'm not against the amendment, but amendment should be done as and when these are required. Clear? The fruits of one's one labor, that should be taken. Because efficiency very, very important part is there. The understanding we do not be giving important for the efficiency. Self-esteem. Why we are doing it? Why again we say that the US is the leading economy. They are at the best. But during the pandemic positions, we come to know that the US is not a leading economy. They are not best. As far as the healthcare part is concerned, the one of the best country in the health sector also suffered because of the COVID-19. Okay. So self-esteem is very good. We have to go to that level. But how to be there, that is another issue. So freedom, social unrest, no equal opportunities, equal competitions. So these are some of the points which we have to take care. And if you are able to make a balance between all these things, I already mentioned the word balance between. So whenever I am thinking for the IPRs, IPR is good for the industrialization, but that is not good for the workers, that is not good for the society. If I am thinking for a particular act, particular patent for the agriculture sector, that is good for the agriculture production, but that is not good for the farmer. So that is at the cost of the health of the farmer, at the cost of the health of the labor. That is not good. Please don't take it negative. That's why the number of the cancer patients more are going every day from the area of Batinda, nearby towns, to Sri Ganganagar by train. And the name of the train is, as per the report, is something else, but that is known as the cancer train. When that train is reaching the person, the local code is called, the cancer train has reached. So why this happened? Because the excessive use of the fertilizers. So as far as the Green Revolution part is concerned, the contribution of Punjab is outstanding. But nowadays, who are suffering? The general public is suffering, and they have to pay the cost, and day by day the complications are going to increase. So let's come to the next slide, please. So food is very important. Every person needs the food. So initiative should be at the level of the farmers, at the level of the industry also. So if the industry is good and if the industry is able to grow, definitely the growth for the farmers will also take place. So again, it is topic of the contradictory. Under the present circumstances, if you are talking about the farmers, so we have to maintain a balance between these. So we have to take the incentives and we have to accept the codes of ethics taking in regards to the IP management. So as far as the IP intellectual property management part is concerned, we have to accept, we have to take care for the particular code of conduct and insufficient expenses in the managing the technologies for the dual purpose. So I already mentioned that the R&D part is there, and how much investment you will do and how you will be able to recover God knows. But we have to do all these things for the economic and on the humanitarian grounds. And the liability laws are there, tie up with the IP product liabilities whatsoever is possible. So these are some of the problems presently we are facing as far as food part is concerned. So some next slide, please. So we have to take care for the donor organizations. So low in funding, IP capacity building, state in requiring the sound IP management plans. So I already mentioned that unless and until the public and the private sector will not do any hands, definitely we have to pay the additional cost. So next slide, sir, please. So I am not doing giving. Sir, next, please. So we have the industry, we have the donor organization, we have to take care for the government, and we have to take care of the public sectors. But when we are talking about the public sector, the distrust of the public sector, the government, vice versa, private sector. So the private sector can do a wonderful job, and if we are depending only for the public sector, that is not good. But if the AICT or the UGC is giving the same grant to the private university, and we see that private universities are not in position to do the same, no, it's no. Number the private university are doing the wonderful job. I was a part of the university, RIMT University, and I'm sure that even today the RIMT University is doing the wonderful job. And I know the vision of the management. And if any of the management have the good vision and the public sector is not giving the view with it, that is wrong. Unless and until we will not establish these such kind of the centers in the private with the private players, we will not be able to achieve this objective. And as far as the private part is concerned, this is slow in uptaking of IP management policies and practices. We have to improve. We have to gear up the IP management policies. And if you are able to get up and if you are able to encourage and if you are able to motivate, then only we will be able to do so. And misunderstanding of public good and private good. So if I think that the public sector is good or the private sector is good, both can do the wonderful job. Sometimes in case of the public sector, what is happening? Only the politics is taking place. Initiative taken by the previous government that may be good, but these are criticized by the present government. And the present government initiatives will be criticized by the next government. But what is happening in case of private sector? The management have the vision, management have taken the initiative, they are going to invest, definitely they have to achieve their objective. So which one is good or bad, we can't say, but the public is bad or the both are good, so depending upon the visions and the stability. If there is a stability in the public sector, definitely the things will improve. If you see the history of the China and the Russia, what is there, that they have the stability. They have another kind of the political setup, and we have another kind of the political setup. I am not going to support that the communist system is very good, but if the stability is there, then only they are able to execute their policies for it. Next slide, sir, please. So there are the 3-4 things. If you are talking about the research and if you are talking about the development activities, we are talking about the commercialization. And if I am taking the number of the other parameters, and if I think that the public sector can contribute, the private can contribute, both can contribute. If I am thinking only the research, science and technology, regulation, IP is the public sector, no, nothing like this. I have designed in the different class, please mention it. Both are able to do the same roles in both the case. So same factors are there. Government is also going to import and export. The private sector is also going to import and export. So both have the capacity, and nowadays, after the 1995, so this is open to everyone. So as far as the IP part is concerned, this is not only the role of the public sector, it should be the role of the private player also, and they have to accept the responsibilities. So next, please. So as far as the strategies part is concerned, that how to improve it, where to improve it, what kind of the decision, what kind of initiative should be taken by the government. So value your dreamers bring as employees. Whenever you are going to employ a person, sometimes a very good question is there, where you would like to see you after 5 years, so yourself after 5 years. Okay. So whenever you are going to hire the workers, so don't take it lightly. You should appoint a good human resources. You should think for the knowledge management. You should think for how to retain them. So I started my topic with the US and the hiring of the engineers, doctors from India to outside. So, but why they are going outside? Clear? So whenever you are appointing it, persons with a good caliber, so definitely you have to think that how much should be paid to them, how to retain them, all these parts should be taken care. Don't let other people claim ownership of your right. It is your duty to take care of your rights. So how you'll be able to do it? You have to claim it. You have to approach the court. You have to fight for this, and you have to be vigilant every time. Once you register, doesn't mean that that is your, unless until you are not following the proper procedures. So you have to follow the proper procedures. Have contributor assigning their IP to the company. It is very important part. And evaluate your core assets and decide upon the type of IP production you need. Make sure you have a great name. Yes, great name here. If you are the leader in the market, definitely the other good players will join the hands. If you are not a good leader in the market, you have to join the hands with you. So there is a lot of difference. Try to create. Means you should have your identity. You should be known in the market for any kind of the product or service. So joining hands with the big is not bad. Next time I am going to criticize that part also. So you should create your name. You should think for this. For example, one particular university is known for this. Why IITs? Do you feel that only the IITs is able to create good engineers? No, even the private player has given the good engineers. So consider a global patent strategies. Clear? So we are always criticizing China that they are our neighbors and we have not having a good relation with them right now. That is another issue. But whenever they have the good strategies, so there is no harm to follow that particular strategy. Yeah. So definitely we should think for the competitors and take care of using the open source software. So earlier the condition was there, if you are running the school, college, institutes and manufacturing sector, you have to take these particular softwares and then you have to pay for that. But this time we have, so next like this. So this time we have the open source softwares are also there. So you can use the open source software, and when there is any kind of the dispute, that means you have to take care at your end and be careful of hiring the new employees. Be careful in hiring the new employees means sometimes you think that the old employees will be more expensive, we have to pay them more and more. And when you are hiring the new employee, just remember, if he can leave the another organization, he can disclose their trade secrets. So tomorrow he can also disclose his trade secrets. So most of the times when we are asking to the interviews so how the company is doing, what they are doing, the candidate just to impress the employer, they are disclosing each and everything. So when such kind of person is able to disclose their previous organization, they are also able to disclose the same secrets for you also tomorrow. So for this we should be very, very alert. एक एग्जाम्पल था कि उसमें एम्प्लॉय का बर्थडे पे बॉस कहता है, एम्प्लॉयर कहता है कि either you take rupees 5 lakh for arrange I am going to arrange a party, you can call your friends and family members. So he says, he think if I will be taking the 5 lakh, then definitely after this 5 lakh I have to pay rupees 1,50,000 as tax and 350, and again my friends and circles will come to know that I am being honored with such kind of the gift. So they will be again asking the party. I have to spend more than this. So they say that okay sir, I will be inviting my family friends and my circle. So they are being invited. on the table, they both started discussing regarding the new policies, what kind of changes, what kind of hirings are there. So some of the person, just to impress, they are discussing all these things. So the employer is able to get the number of the ideas, and the employer is able to know who are right and who are the wrong persons. And accordingly, whenever the next terms come, the things will be on the different ways. So why I use this example? Then be careful. That may be the strategy of the organization. Next slide, sir, please. As far the initiative part is concerned, in the year 2016, it has approved the national IPR policy. Although I'm not going to criticize that nothing happened after the 1970s, a lot of changes have taken place. But in the year 2016, it approved the new national IPR policies. As we were talking about, there should be a policies, and which will lay the future roadmap for intellectual property in India. It aims to increase the awareness. Means the basic problem was not in case of the in the minds, it was the awareness. Stimulate the creation of IPRs, ensure the strong and effective IPR laws, redressal and modernization of IPR administration, among other things. So this was done by the government of India. And after this, what happened? The IPR indexes of India is going up. But we are not satisfied, because with such a number of the persons, with such number of the intellectuals, again we are at less than 40, and the world is at 95 something. So Cell for the IPR promotion and management was created by simplifying the streamlining the IP processes. So these are some of the initiatives taken by the government just for the betterment of the societies and for the betterment of the results. Next point, sir, please. So when I am talking about the promote of the intellectual properties, so there are some points which we should keep in mind. Do not file patent. I'm not going to, you should file the patent. The most uncommon way to protect intellectual property is not to file patent. Okay? So whenever you have any kind of knowledge, if you think that I should not file the patent, it is good, I will take it secret. No, that secrets will not be paying for a longer period. If you are filing it and someone else filed it earlier than you, then you will be at loss. So whenever you have any kind of good ideas, go for the initiative. So after some days, again there are some kind of other modifications, then again you can take the initiative. Run lean and fast. Separate teams should be there. Open sources should be there. Avoid joint ownership. Earlier I was talking about the ownership, that we should join the hands. As far as the learning part is concerned, as for the technology and know-how part is concerned, you should join the hands. But as far as the IP part, intellectual property rights part is concerned, if you're joining hands with the other organization and you have the disputes, then again it is the big problem. Otherwise you have to bear them for a very long period. Get estate match domains and safeguard with the strong SS controls and get strong non-disclosure agreements. So all these things should be there. Whenever we are the part of the research and development activities, it is not the job of a single man. So it's always the teamwork, and whenever we are the teamwork, so this is the mutual duty of each and every person not to disclose the things. Then we have to maintain the secrets. So next, please. So again, how to protect the IPR in India. India has acquired copyright laws, and in July 18, so India assessed to the WIPO. So this was the basically policy. So we have taken the initiative in the year of 2018 and in 2019. And as we know, during the last year, this year, because of this pandemic position, so number of the things are missing. But we have taken certain initiatives, and these kind of the bodies are there. So they have to take care for all these things, and better results are there. Before coming to the next slides, I would like to mention, unless until the awareness will not be there, unless and until we will not accept the responsibilities, unless and until we will not be the part of this process, we will not be able to achieve the good results. So what is there as far as the IP part is concerned, as far as my role when a teacher is concerned, we will not motivate the students, we will not motivate the societies, we will not create the awareness, we will not suggest the government. Number of the time, what is happening at the time of the policy framework, government of India is asking for the opinions from the general public. And being the public, we are not going to inform them. But when the things are coming, then we are telling, no, my opinion is this. No, nothing like this. So we should submit the maximum opinions. We should continuously write the suggestion. And after giving all the suggestions, and the criticism is not a bad thing. Healthy criticism is good for the further developments. So not taking too much time, I would like to say one story for you. कि एक बार एक कवि सम्मेलन था और उस कवि सम्मेलन में क्या हुआ कि सभी कवियों ने अपनी अपनी रचना पढ़ी। तो एक कवि ने अपनी रचना पढ़ी तो लोगों ने कहा भाई रचना पढ़ रहा है तो वाह वाह बहुत अच्छा बोला। तो उन्होंने सेकंड पढ़ा। उसने कवि ने सोचा मजा आ गया आज तो प्लेटफॉर्म बहुत अच्छा है। उन्होंने थर्ड पढ़ा। तो जैसे वो थर्ड पढ़ने लगा तो 5-4 लोग ना लाठी लेके मंच के आसपास घूम रहे थे। तो कवि महोदय ने उनके आगे हाथ जोड़ के बोला कि महाराज मेरे से कोई गलती होगी तो मुझे माफ करना। बताओ क्या बात होगी? कहते नहीं नहीं हम आपको नहीं ढूंढ रहे हैं, हम उसको ढूंढ रहे हैं जो आपको लेके आया। तो ऐसा ना हो कि इसके बाद आप नितिन थापर जी को बोलें कि कहाँ से लेके आए थे, क्यों बुलाया था। तो आई एम ग्रेटफुल टू ऑल ऑफ यू फॉर द पेशेंस हियरिंग and I am grateful and thankful to Sri Dr. Hukamchand Bansal ji, Mr. Vijay Bansal ji, Dr. B.S. Bhatia ji, and Dr. M.S. Bindra ji, Rakesh Mohan ji. Rakesh Mohan ji is my good friend and a very good, honest and dedicated worker. So he is the registrar of this university. Dr. Mendrapal Sharma ji, he was my colleague. Dr. Nitin Thapar ji, Head of Science Department, Computer Sciences, all deans of faculties, all heads of department, all the participants. I am thankful to all of you from the core of my heart. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. Thank you, sir.